The story of A Midsummer Night's Dream begins in Athens, with the quarrel over love and marriage. It's 4 days away from Theseus and Hippolyta's wedding. Theseus is the heroic Duke of Athens, and Hippolyta is the legendary Queen of the Amazons. Immediately after the opening scene, Aegis arrives. He's a tyrannical and extreme father figure. He's going to the king in order to make use of an old and barbarian law because his daughter Hermia disobeys him and doesn't want to marry the man he wants to impose her. He wants her to marry Demetrius, but she's already in love with Lysander, so that she refuses her father's will. Unfortunately for Hermia, the Duke of Athens explains that her father is correct. Moreover, he can't overrule the law. Yet he gives her 4 days to decide what to do. She has 3 possibilities: die, marry Demetrius, or go to a monastery. This law shocks and enrages Lysander, but he refuses to give up his soulmate without a fight. He proposes her to escape the following night and to meet each other in the wood. He says that he has an aunt that has an house outside of Athens. There they can stay together and marry away from all the people and from the law of the city. As they are getting ready to leave, Helena arrives. She's a very close friend of Hermia. Unfortunately, they choose to tell her their plans. This is unfortunate because Helena is in love with Demetrius, and she's jealous of her friend, so she decides to tell everything about the plan to Demetrius because she thinks in this way he will be grateful and the relation can begin. Demetrius plans to follow the lovers into the woods, and Helena will follow Demetrius. Meanwhile, a group of actors is practicing a play in the forest. Their names are Bottom, Snug, and Flute. The characters are comical and silly. To the human ignorance, the woods are a magical place. In these particular woods, there are a fairy king and queen named Oberon and Titania. It's important to note that normally fairies are wise creatures, but at times they can be as foolish as humans. Oberon and Titania are quarreling because the king is jealous of the young and beautiful boy that stays always with his wife. He would like to have him for himself and to make of him a knight, so when the queen refuses to hand over the boy because he's the son of a very close friend, the quarrel erupts. Oberon asks for the boy one last time, but when the queen again refuses, he says that he will punish her because of this injury. Indeed, he asks to his elf Puck to bring him that magic flower that burned by a Cupid's arrow. It is a magic flower that has supernatural powers. When it is put in one's eyes, it's able to make this person love the first thing he will see. Oberon plans to put some on Titania's eyes when she's asleep, so that she will fall in love with the first thing she will see when she will wake up. This way, he will be able to have the young boy for himself only. During Puck's absence, Demetrius and Helena come into the scene. She gushes about her love for him, but Demetrius rejects her. Oberon feels bad for Helena and decides to take a pity on her by using the flower. When Puck returns with the magical flower, Oberon asks him to take some juice of it and to put it on Demetrius' eyes, but only if he's sure that the first thing that he will see in the morning will be Helena. Puck sets off through the forest and finds a male sleeping, but because of the darkness, he makes a huge mistake. Instead of putting the potion on Demetrius' eyes, he puts it on Lysander's ones. Lysander and Hermia indeed decided to sleep in the wood because they were tired, and Hermia insisted that he had to sleep a bit away from her. The consequence of Puck's error is that when Lysander wakes up in the morning, the first thing he sees is Helena, so that he falls madly in love with her. She thinks that this must be some cruel joke and runs away. Lysander follows after her and leaves his sleeping soulmate, Hermia.
It doesn't take long for Oberon to realize that Puck put the liquid on the wrong man. He wants to solve the mistake, so he decides to put again the potion on Dimitri's eyes, so that he will fall in love with Helena. Discovering that both Lysander and Demetrius now are in love with her, and thinking that this is unreal, Helena is convinced that they are both making fun of her and complotting something against her. On the other hand, Hermia is now the woman chasing after her uninterested lover. Hermia catches up with them and fights with Helena. Demetrius and Lysander also begin fighting. To stop the fight, Oberon orders Puck to drop a dense fog on the forest that gives him the opportunity to fix the situation. He puts another potion on Lysander's eyes, so that everything will return as at the beginning. Hermia and Lysander on one end, Helena and Demetrius on the other.
Later, Oberon finds Titania and puts some liquid on her as well. When she wakes, she sees one of the actors, Bottom, who had his head turned into that of a donkey by Puck. She immediately falls in love with her. Oberon comes in. He manages to get the Indian boy and then releases her from the magical spell. Next, he takes out the donkey head from the bottom.
The Athenians wake up from their sleep and go back to their homes. Since Demetrius is no longer interested in marrying Hermia, she is safe. Then we see the group of actors performing their play at the wedding of Theseus and Hippolyta. Even Oberon and Titania are at the wedding to bless it. Everything ends in a positive way, and we witness 3 different marriages.
Now we move on to the characters. Theseus. Theseus is the Duke of Athens, who is marrying Hippolyta as the play begins. He decrees that Hermia must marry Demetrius, or be sentenced either to death or to life in a convent. At the end of the play, he insists that all of the lovers marry along with him and Hippolyta. Hippolyta. Hippolyta is the legendary queen of the Amazons. She is betrothed to Theseus. These two were once enemies, and Theseus won her in battle. In this play, she seems to have lost much of her fighting spirit, though she does not hesitate to voice her opinion. Oberon. Oberon is the king of the fairies. He is initially at odds with his wife Titania because she refuses to relinquish control of a young Indian prince whom he wants for a knight. Oberon's desire for revenge on Titania leads him to send Puck to obtain the love potion flower that creates so much of the play's confusion and farce. Titania. Titania is the beautiful queen of the fairies. She resists the attempts of her husband Oberon to make a knight of the young Indian prince that she has been given. Titania's brief potion-induced love for Nick Bottom, whose head Puck had transformed into that of a donkey, yields the play's fairmost example of the conscious motive.
Lysander, a young man of Athens in love with Hermia. Lysander's relationship with Hermia invokes the theme of love's difficulty. He cannot marry her openly because Aegeus, her father, wishes her to wed Demetrius. When Lysander and Hermia run away into the forest, Lysander becomes the victim of misapplied magic and wakes up in love with Helena. Demetrius, a young man of Athens, initially in love with Hermia, and ultimately in love with Helena. Demetrius' obstinate pursuit of Hermia throws love out of balance among the quartet of Athenian youths and precludes a symmetrical two-couple arrangement.
Hermia, Aegeus' daughter, a young woman of Athens. Hermia is in love with Lysander and is a childhood friend of Helena. As a result of the fairy's mischief with Oberon's love potion, both Lysander and Demetrius suddenly fall in love with Helena. Self-conscious about her short stature, Hermia suspects that Helena has wooed the man with her hay. By morning, however, Puck has short matters out with the love potion, and Lysander's love for Hermia is restored. Helena, a young woman of Athens, in love with Demetrius. Demetrius and Helena were once betrothed, but when Demetrius met Helena's friend Hermia, he fell in love with her and abandoned Helena. Lacking confidence in her looks, Helena thinks that Demetrius and Lysander are mocking her when the fairy's mischief cause them to fall in love with her. Aegeus, Hermia's tyrannical father, who brings a complaint against his daughter to Theseus. Aegeus has given Demetrius permissions to marry Hermia, but Hermia, in love with Lysander, refused to marry Demetrius. Aegeus' severe insistence that Hermia either respect his wishes or be held accountable to action in low places him squarely outside the whimsical dream realm of the forest.
Puck, also known as Robin Goodfellow, Puck is Oberon's jester, a mischievous fairy who delights in playing pranks on mortals. Though A Midsummer Night's Dream divides its action between several groups of characters, Puck is the closest thing the play has to a protagonist. His enchanting, mischievous spirit pervades the atmosphere, and his acts are responsible for many of the complications that propel to other main plots. He mistakes the young Athenians, applying the love potion to Lysander instead of Demetrius, thereby causing chaos within the group of young lovers. He also transforms Bottom's head into that of an ass. Nick Bottom, the overconfident weaver chosen to play Priamus in the craftsman's play for Theseus' marriage celebration. Bottom is full of advice and self-confidence, but frequently makes silly mistakes and misuses languages. His simultaneous nonchalance about the beautiful Titania's sudden love from him, and unawareness of the fact that Puck has transformed his head into that of an ass, mark the pinnacle of his foolish arrogance.
The themes. Love. In A Midsummer Night's Dream, love is the force the characters cannot control, a point amplified by workings of the love potion, which literally makes people slaves to love. And yet A Midsummer Night's Dream ends happily, with the free marriages blessed by the reconciled fairy king and queen. So even as A Midsummer Night's Dream makes fun of love's effects on both men and women, and points out that when it comes to love there's nothing really new to say, its happy ending reaffirms love's importance, beauty, and timeless relevance.
After the surreal night of magic and mayhem in the forest, both the lovers and Bottom describe what happened to them as a dream. They use the word dream to describe their experiences because they wouldn't otherwise be able to understand the bizarre and irrational things that they remember happening to them in the forest. By calling their experiences dreams, Bottom and the lovers allow those experiences to exist as they are, without need for explanation or understanding. The play also seems to be suggesting that dreams and imagination are useful as a reason, and can sometimes create truths that transcend reason's limits.
Men and women. The relationship between men and women echoes across both the mortal and fairy worlds of A Midsummer Night Dreams. More specifically, both the fairy and mortal plots in the play deal with an attempt by male authority figures to control women. Oberon creates the love Zeus in an attempt to control his disobedient wife. Aegeus seeks to control his daughter's marriage. Also, A Midsummer Night's Dream suggests that love can also take a terrible toll on same-sex friendship. Indeed, it causes the betrayal of Helena and a lot of violence throughout the play.
Supernatural and magic. In A Midsummer Night's Dream, Shakespeare has created a fantastical world of fairies and magic. And this world is not just a pretty backdrop for the events of the play. The fairies and their magic are the engine of the plot. And in the face of this magic, mortal dilemmas such as the laws of Athens fall away. Plays within plays. A Midsummer Night's Dream is a play containing other plays. The most obvious example is the play acted by the three actors in the wood, and at Theseus and Hippolyta's wedding. It's important because it allows Shakespeare to comment on the nature of the art and theatre, primarily through the library's own confused belief that the audience won't be able to distinguish between fiction and reality.